All right. Hey guys, this is JSTA_CTR, also known as just a CTR, and we're going to do a build overview. So a lot of times there's questions when it comes to what setup this car makes, what it has, everything like that. I'll probably get tongue twisted throughout this video, but it's fun. And I wanted to go over full detail and the purpose behind a lot of these things. First thing that I'll actually start off on is fitment. Anybody that knows me knows I care a lot about fitment, but it also is purposeful. So this car has RSR Super Down Sus springs on it. This is not coilovers, but it does have coilover style fitment. These are 18 by 9.5 plus 38 raised 57 transins, rev limits. I actually am running a 5mm spacer up front. Zero issues, several watt pulls, hundreds of watt pulls, canyons, all that. No issues whatsoever. These are rolled and pulled fenders, so if you kind of see here, the fender is slightly pulled. You don't actually have to do that or the spacers, but what's a fast car without great fitment? I do have rear camber arms, Megan Racing rear camber arms in the rear. Because when you do lower a car like this, these RSRs, Super Downs, they actually advertise an 1.5 inch drop, but they end up being about 2 inches. Lower spring drop when it comes to these, but these are one of the few springs for this FK8 chassis that come with aftermarket bump stocks. So car drives smooth, not super stiff, but you also get the sweet fitment that comes with it. I once had a Mugen kit on this car, no longer have a Mugen kit. Ended up breaking it, which is fine. Fugen kit actually. But when we get into the motor, this is where it gets actually kind of special. So first things first, you're going to notice this while watching this video. This AC line is a little bit farther than normal. That's because there's no AC on this car. We'll get into that. You see this dongle? It snaps. Very common. Things happen. Probably can't get it fixed. About $175 fix. I actually took this car completely apart and put it back together, and that just wasn't the fixes that I decided to do. But you notice there's no inlet, no intake on this. This is a mathless setup. Now, this is a stock motor, stock head, stock cam, stock clutch, stock trans car. And you could do this. This is perfectly fine. This is on Hondata. I actually have Hondata mounted on the dash inside of the car. But we'll start off with small and we'll go up. So I do have a ported race manifold on this vehicle. It is an OEM manifold that is ported. I do have a Sirimoto flex fuel kit with upgraded PTFE lines. PTFE lines, if you know, OEM lines, they might last, but there is a risk of them deteriorating over time. Just for me to just eliminate that altogether, PTFE, plus these are also larger diameters lines versus OEM, so they will flow just a little more fuel. Common question, tape under the scoop. That is because these scoops are known to leak. Honda actually posted a bulletin about them, which is why they put engine covers on the FK8 chassis versus some of their other models, because the water will seep down from the scoop and then get onto the coil packs, which eventually go into the spark plugs. I've already had rust spark plugs before, so in the event that it rains, no leaking. Heat tape on the valve cover just to prevent any melting. I am not running a turbo blanket setup right now, which is kind of uncommon for me, but I see as there was not really a need to. I mean, it does increase IATs a little bit, but I do have methanol in this car. I do have an upgraded radiator on this car, Megan Racing, probably best bang for your dollar as far as cost, with OEM fans. And my OEM fan housings are actually heat taped as well. Keep the heat off the fans. This is an upgraded fuel system car. So a lot of people, when they see meth cars, are like, oh, meth, stock fuel system, very risky. Not necessarily a scenario for this car. So this car does have Xdi high pressure fuel pump, Hondata 1330cc injectors, and Hondata low pressure fuel pump with a drilled fuel line. Car actually runs on about E50 to E55 is like its happy place. But an additional fuel source that I have, and because DI is expensive, I'm not putting anybody down that is on DI, but you start going up the ladder, you spend a lot of money for very minimal results for the price that you're paying. So I do have an AM V3 meth kit on here, but I am running a Snow line. Doesn't matter what line you run, just stay. A Snow 1000cc 16 gauge nozzle, and a Snow check valve, and a Snow nozzle holder. This is how it works. 0 issues, which is perfect. I do have a HPS Cold side charge pipe because it does have a methanol bung. I did make this charge pipe work with the Mishimoto intercooler. So, the Mishimoto, it is rated for about 1,000 horsepower, 800 to 1,000 horsepower. One of the larger cores that you can get with these cars. My son says hi. So it is one of the keys to staying at ambient temps while creating the most flow for an intercooler core. I think I went over. I have Acuity reverse flow hoses back to the coolant side. They are heat tape because I noticed I've ran this setup before with Acuity reverse flow hoses, and they would get super hot. Not the case with the heat tape. Kind of repels that radiant heat and keeps ECT cool. If you notice on an OEM style setup, there's usually a black bracket that goes here that spits back into the intake. That's essentially your CCV side. I am venting the atmosphere, my CCV side, directly from the valve cover. So I remove that line, plus I'm not running intake. But there's usually 2 lines that connect top and bottom as well too. That's a coolant line that goes from the throttle body down to this coolant line, back to the throttle body, and to the side of the block. I deleted that coolant line at the throttle body, so there's no coolant line up top, and then my bottom coolant feed just goes directly to the side of my block. So no heat transfer from the throttle body, which is nice. Just another way to basically keep engine coolant temps down, because when you start pushing power, you typically start rising ECT. The big thing when it comes to these cars is you want to avoid a head gasket failure, which seems to be somewhat common on not maintaining your cooling system or shoving a bunch of power with no cooling mods. So we've carefully thought about this. I have a few guys running similar cooling upgrades, and I just wanted to have the biggest peace of mind. I do have hood risers on this car. With those hood risers, they're supposedly supposed to help cool the car. They do. I mean, my engine bay temps aren't really as hot, but they also help rise the hood to bring air in. So since this is a mathless setup, this is a Rampage kit with a g25-660.92 AR. I'm not running intake or inlet, so I'm drawing straight from the turbo here. Turbo guard just for some safety measures back there. But it's sucking in air directly from the bay. There's no channel on here or anything like that. Some guys will run a headlight delete. Maybe at one point in time I might. But it is drawing the air from the lifted hood along with the grill. So super helpful when it comes to that. But this is essentially what's in my engine bay. I am running ruthenium spark plugs at a 0.022 gap per my tuner. This car is Monolito tuned, MTtuned. For this setup, probably right now, just based on information, it's probably about 560, 570 wheel horsepower just on the base map. But as we turn it up and actually get dyno results, I will update you guys on that as well too. Coming in, when it comes to getting closer to the car, this is a gutted rear end, and we're running 100% pure methanol. Now, I think VPM1 is like 99.2, doesn't really matter. I'm actually running pure meth from a source, so we have the meth set up back there. And then when you get to the front of the car, center console delete with a blocked shifter. That mounted Hondata I talked about earlier. There is a Sirimoto flex gauge below the dash there. And then my AMV3 methanol controller. Decent setup, lightweight car. I had a CAE shifter before, did really well, really enjoyed that driving experience. So the block shifter, which I see they're no longer selling, is essentially a CAE replica. Why spend money twice for like $800 or $900 a part when you could sell one part for like $800 and then buy another one for, at that time it was like $120. So I had to capitalize on it. But this is essentially the setup when it comes to this car. I will be trying to get more, basically more content when it comes to the car. Watt pools, maybe even some races in there, dyno pools, canyon runs and stuff like that. But I figure I'd do that overview for everyone just to kind of answer most people's questions. I think one thing I didn't touch on is the traction aspect of this car. So this car is tuned boost by gear. Very big when it comes to performance, because you don't need to be throwing 30 plus pounds of boost in every gear. So Monolito has that really down packed. Each one of my gears are set up to put down this power in the most efficient way. But I also have Nitto NT01s 275/35 semi-slicks to assist with that. And I'm on my third set and they've been great. This car also does have a rear wing delete. When it comes to the rear end, there's a Megan Racing 3-inch exhaust that flows for this vehicle as well too. But I think I hit every nail on the head. If you guys have any questions on the setup, feel free to reach out to me and I'll answer any of your questions. Thank you for watching my video.